In this video, I'm going to share with you a rebroadcast of a free scoping and Xactimate training featuring Jeremy Redig from Adjuster University, starting now.
You're watching the Property IA Show.
Hey, it's Matt here with the Property IA Show on Adjuster TV. And for the best tips and tools for getting on the first call list as an independent adjuster, subscribe now. Click on the bell notification so that you never miss a video. Okay, check it out. Jeremy is going to walk you through a complete estimate, including the photos he took and why he took those photos. So really, it's kind of a scope and Xactimate estimate walkthrough. Then I want to emphasize that Jeremy builds a complete estimate with sketch and a scoping walkthrough of his photos inside of 27 minutes. And he's teaching you while he's doing it. And this is a fairly complex water claim, okay? Pay attention because this is the kind of high-speed, efficient workflow that separates the adjusters who crush it from the wannabes who can't seem to turn the corner and make the higher income that they've always heard about. This is it. Rubber meet road.
Hey, what's up, adjusters? In this episode of live Xactimate training, I'm going to walk you through a water loss that initially wasn't even thought to be a water, or initially wasn't thought to be what it actually was. I'm going to walk you through everything that it takes to build this semi-complicated water loss. Now I say semi-complicated because it's a water loss that's probably going to come out to somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000 in the end. But it has, I guess, more than just some simple drywall repair, so it's not the simplest water loss that you're ever going to find. But it's certainly not the most complicated. So before we get started, if you're watching this video, if you aren't a member of our Claims Adjuster Success Network, if you do the Facebook thing, go check it out. This is it right here. Go jump on, let's see if I have to duck down. Jump on and go search for the private group, the Claims Adjuster Success Network, and apply to be a member. As long as you're an adjuster and you're not into bullying or giving bad advice and you enjoy uplifting your fellow adjusters, join our Success Network. I'd really love to have you. We'd all really love to have you. So jump on there. And as always, make sure that you are a subscriber to this channel. You're watching right now. Click on the subscribe button so you can catch not only all of these live trainings, but also the other fantastic content that me and my company, Adjuster University, comes out with. So without further ado, let's get started here. This room that we're looking at, this is the room that was claimed in the FNOL, the first notice of loss. When I received this assignment, they said that there was water damage in the bathroom due to a roof leak. So I get out there, open mind, this is it. Now, what I don't have a picture of, right in the center of this pretty small bathroom is a skylight. It's one of those skylights with, like, you know, it's like 4 feet up. There's like a 4-foot wall. Now I don't have really a picture of the skylight. I should have put that in. That's my fault. But this is the overviews of the actual bathroom. And now this is the water damage. You can almost see the skylight on the left corner there. But this is it. So obviously, I mean, this is a single-story house here. So you got the skylight right there. So the insured said that, yeah, we got a roof leak. We gotta get this figured out. So I said, okay, we got some moisture in the wall. We got moisture in the wall all the way behind the tile here. Okay, and that tile extends continuously into the nearby shower stall. Okay, all right. Now there's our sketch. Now let me just dial it back because, as always, when you're working with some companies, you know, they'll tell you that they want you to inspect every room. And it's true. I mean, it's good advice and also inefficient advice. You really don't need to inspect every room, but you should make it a habit of making sure you're inspecting at least all of the surrounding rooms. Now, if you remember in that last photo, there was, I had my moisture meter against that wall. So doing so many claims, I already know that I'm going to check out whatever room's on the other side of this for some extra damage. So I'm going to take you through the photos now and take you through my mind while I'm going through them. So this is the front of the house. We always take that picture. Okay, oop, that's a bad one. Okay, so first thing is first. I want to go in the attic and see what's going on in the attic. Now, I don't always go in the attic on roof claims, especially if it's an obvious wind damage claim. But this one was a little different. There wasn't any obvious wind. There wasn't any wind in the area, no wind reported. And I had easy access into the attic, so I wanted to check it out. So in the attic, I found right above that area. So you see this insulation going vertically right there. That's that well for the skylight. And right there is a pipe. So, and if you look around, there's no other water damage coming in from a, from a roof leak or anything like that. So I checked it out. And the pipe itself was pretty wet. So it looked like we had a pipe leak. So I told the insured, go get a plumber out there and we should be good. Okay, so now taking us through all of the rooms. Now I've already, before I took my photographs, I already went through and got a lay of the land to figure out what rooms I'll be accounting for in my photos. So here is the living room. So I checked out the living room, and at this corner here, right, at this corner, you can see there's some light staining down the wall, all right, leading into that nearby kitchen. And right here, right near where the kitchen is, there's some obvious water damage. So I got my moisture meter on there, and it's definitely wet. And here's the laminate floor. The laminate floor has some obvious delamination to it, all right. So that floor extends throughout the living room, okay? So here we go. This is the kitchen. Why am I taking pictures of the kitchen? Because we still have some water damage to the ceiling here, okay? There's still elevated levels of moisture inside that wall right next to the cabinet, all right? And it goes right near this laminated countertop. So laminated countertop, water, it's going to delaminate. So we check for that. And we can see right here, we have some delamination to the countertop, okay? So I made sure I got measurements of the countertops before I left. Now, this is the hallway right here. Why am I taking pictures of the hallway? Well, that hallway has that same laminate flooring and same old laminate flooring continuing throughout it, okay? And of course, here are the photos of our bathroom. We're good there. So now, first thing is first, now that you understand what we're dealing with, we're gonna go through and, oh, by the way, this picture here, blurry overview picture, this is a rookie move performed by me, somebody who's been doing this a long time. I always keep a very close eye of my camera when I take pictures, because if I see it came out blurry, I take another one. Usually in low light situations, you may get a blurry picture. And honestly, I didn't notice that this one was blurry. So that is a mistake, but thankfully it isn't what I would call the money shot. It isn't a very, very important picture. So it just kind of shows what room I'm in, but you know what room I'm in this one. So we'll probably get away with it. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, now it's time to drop these photos into our photo report and get them all labeled. So let's get started. Done. Okay, now to move to our sketch. I always like, this is actually something I recently started trying to do more often, and that is to take photographs of my sketch. Usually I would do that if I know that there's a possibility of the claim being denied, but I'm not sure. I don't want to build the sketch in Xactimate if the claim is just ultimately going to be denied, but I don't want to throw my field sketch away if I find out later that the claim isn't denied, that it's actually going to be covered, and then I gotta either go back there or just try to figure it out from the photos. It's never any good. So I've been taking photographs not only for that purpose, but also because it is a little bit easier for me to transcribe my sketch digitally, that when it's on the same screen onto Xactimate. Sometimes I'm writing estimates in an airplane or somewhere else where I'm in tight quarters or I'm in a packed coffee shop, and it's a little bit harder. So let's get started. Now that we have that finished, let's move on to the actual estimate. So let's get started. So what I did not do before I started building this estimate was drop in our six-figure macro. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you're seeing the ads, the six-figure macro. This is the thing to use. If you are adjusting claims, whether you're a daily adjuster, whether you're a CAT adjuster, whatever the case is, it is absurd to me if you are not using, if not this particular macro, something that you spent hours critiquing, putting together, that's gonna help you build your estimates much faster. Most new adjusters, I don't care what certification level you have with Xactimate, I don't care what course you took online. If you don't have your estimate structured in a nice way, your estimates look like crap. If you don't have all the line items that you think you're gonna need within reach and you're cherry picking line items out of a database of thousands and thousands, you're going to spend an unnecessary amount of time putting those together. If you're in a cat situation, if you're on a hail deployment, hell, if you're on a snow damage deployment, the amount of time, extra time that you're gonna spend putting your line items together, if you extrapolate that over 4 claims, at that point, if you could find a way to just get through the estimating portion of your day faster, you have the possibility of shoving in an extra estimate that day. If you can do an extra inspection and an extra estimate that day, that's gonna increase how much you make on your deployment or your daily claims by $200 to potentially $800. And that's just upping one single claim. And if you do that, if you can get, let's say, $400 a day extra, and you're doing that 7 days a week, even 5 days a week, what does that come out to? It's absurd not to be using whatever you possibly can to make your estimates get completed faster. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this sketch. All right, Control C. I'm gonna go to Project, copy from Project, and now I'm gonna dump my 6-figure macro in. It's gonna do some magic. Now here we go. Now I'm gonna go back to my sketch. I'm gonna get rid of the exterior. I don't need that. I'm gonna get rid of the second floor. Don't need that. There is no basement. Get rid of that. Boom. Drop my sketch in. All right, now I got this little annotation. Move that over. People like when you do this. Companies like when you drop in little annotations here and there. I always hated doing it because I hate dealing with the arrows. I hate dealing with the text inside of Xactimate, but it's already there. Just drag it over. All right, now I'm only dealing with coverage A, so I'm gonna get rid of coverage B. All right, that's it. Here we go. So now jump over to our estimate item. Get rid of the folders we don't need because we don't have any coverage C, personal property, no exterior damage, get rid of that. Now, as always, we make sure that our photos are the same flow as our estimate. So there we go here. Now we're looking good. Now, here's what, take you back. Might not have gone through it together. So I don't have any photos that specifically say dining room. It just kind of, it's really not a dining, it's like a kitchenette, like a eat-in area. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take you back into Sketch. I'm just gonna make my dining room actually a sub-room of the kitchen. There we go. That way there's no confusion. Hey, do you have pictures of the dining room? No, because there is no dining room. It's just one big kitchen. All right, so we have our living room, kitchen, hallway, bathroom. Boom, boom, boom. Save, because I don't trust Xactimate. Now, let's get started. I always like, when I'm doing my estimate, I always like to start in the most severely affected room. And the reason why I like is because although this macro has all of the most commonly used line items, regardless of what macro you're using, if you have those line items that you're going to be using the most, going in the most severely affected room first will allow you to get rid of the ones that don't apply to this specific one and possibly use those line items that you're using in that room in other rooms. So it just removes some seconds of time that you would spend deleting things. So I think about what's the most severely affected room. Well, these rooms are all a little bit different. I am going to go with the kitchen. We're gonna go with the kitchen because the kitchen also has countertops. All right, let's go. So we go to our kitchen folder. We're gonna highlight all of those line items. Now, there really is not much content manipulation that we're gonna need to worry about here, so I'm gonna get rid of that. There are some drapes on the wall. Actually, there are drapes on the wall. Boom. All right, we will give them 100 square feet to mask and cover. Actually, we'll give them more. We'll give about 300 square feet to cover up those cabinets. See, I already have the line item in there for that. Now we're gonna remove that refrigerator out of the cove. The range is right there. Now, if you see the range, there is tile. It's a tile backsplash around it. So I really don't need to move that because I'm not painting around there. Same goes for, you know, the dishwasher. Now, I'm going to be replacing the countertops, so I will need to manipulate that sink. Oh, I'm looking right at it. There we go, boom, we got it. Now let's take a look at this line item. Now this line item excludes any additional materials or hardware. Labor costs to disconnect a single bowl sink and faucet from supply lines, P-trap, and detach, move to an adjacent. So that's the only line item we need. So we'll get rid of all this. We're not gonna manipulate the countertops, we're gonna actually replace them. Okay, so insulation. We will give an allowance for insulation 8 square feet. That's a much larger allowance than what we can visibly see in the photos. Now I'm going to switch this to material only. Now for the sake of this instructional video, this could be a little bit confusing. So usually whenever you're going to do a material only line item, you need to pair that with a labor only minimum charge on there. Now I'm not going to put a labor only minimum charge in this particular room because I always like to start off the very first material only line item with that charge. In other words, if I'm going to have material only line items in multiple rooms, whatever the first room that I use that in, that's the room that I'm going to drop that labor minimum charge, and I'm going to be doing that in the living room, so I'm not going to do that at this moment. And likewise for the drywall. Actually, to be honest, we probably don't need material labor minimum for drywall because we're going to have a fair amount of drywall, I believe, so we'll just switch that to 8, and on the wall we'll call it 60, just in the living room 32. Okay, then we're going to mask the floor because we're going to be painting a lot. 32 plus 8 is the new drywall that we're going to seal. We're going to paint the walls and the ceiling, and we're going to do that, add a P at the end because we're going to do 2 colors. All right, and that's all we need there. We're not going to do anything on the floor. Doors and windows are okay. Vanity cabinetry section. Now we are going to be replacing this post-form plastic laminate. When you know you're going to be doing something with cabinets or countertops, it's good to get your measurements in the field, not only for the accuracy behind it, but because the time it will take you to do those measurements in the field, you will ultimately save by doing it the other way, which is the eyeball way. Actually, let me correct that. So this comes out to 53 linear feet. That's not right because I calculated by square foot. So I'm going to get these multiplied by 2, multiplied by 3. Out. There you go. 25, 25. That's what we want. Get rid of the rest of these line items. Now, one thing that was in the macro, and I guess I just spoke over, since we're going to be painting the ceiling, we're going to need to mask these light fixtures. So I'm going to mask a light, mask large light. There we go. So this is our kitchen right here. We're repairing the wall, we're repairing the ceiling, we're painting everything. Oh, and there's a little drape. I see a drape in that back window there, and 3 blinds. So what we'll do, we're gonna add a drape, and then we're gonna detach and reset 3 blinds. Move that up to the... Also, one last thing, let's do something else here. We've got moisture right in the wall next to that cabinet. So let's also throw in an allowance in there to detach and reset some cabinets. What we'll do, we'll just detach and reset the entire row. So detach upper cabinet, there we go. Now how long is that row? Well, we have it in our reference block here. We'll get rid of that number 1, I don't know how that showed up. 9.2, where'd it go? Right here, we dropped 9.2 in there. $500. That's a big difference there, $500. Do they need to remove all 9 feet of those cabinets? Maybe not, but they've got 9 feet. If it gets rejected by my file reviewer or by the carrier, I mean, okay, we could talk about it. It's $500 going in their pocket, and that's gonna help any differences that may occur between us and like a contractor. We have those line items. I'm gonna copy all those line items, okay? Now the living room, damage-wise, very similar as far as the ceiling and walls go. So I'm just gonna dump all those line items in, and we're gonna just work from there. For drapes, do we have drapes? We have 1, 2 drapes. Now there is a blind right there, but that blind is cased inside of a little well, so I'm not gonna worry about that, but I am gonna detach and reset those 2 drapes, get rid of the blinds. We're not gonna do anything with the cabinets. I'll give them 100 square feet. Actually, I won't protect any contents because we're gonna be moving all the contents out of that room for the flooring. So we'll need to drop in our content manipulation line item there. So, cont manip. What I normally put. I'll look at the furniture in there. We got big couches, and we know we're gonna need to really move stuff around. It's not like just paint. I'll give them 3 hours. That's pretty good. Okay, so no light fixtures on the walls or the ceilings, so we can get rid of that. We're gonna give them another 8 square feet on the ceiling of repair, and then another 32 on the wall. So we'll keep that as is. We're still gonna mask the floor. Some companies don't want you to mask the floor if you're replacing the floor. This one don't care, so we leave it in there. All right, we got our ceiling, we got our paint. Get rid of these line items. items. Now we need to worry about the floor. We need to get the line items that we need for the floor. So what I look at here for the floor is right here. Is there just a baseboard, or is there a baseboard and a shoe? If there's a baseboard and a shoe, then we're just gonna remove and replace the shoe. We're not gonna detach and reset it, probably in a break. We're gonna seal and paint. Now, if you're paying attention, right now, I'm back in the macro, and I'm just gonna cherry pick the line items I need out of it. Now watch this. So I'm gonna mask the perimeter of the floor for that, remove and replace the base shoe, seal and paint the quarter, the quarter round. I'm also gonna paint the baseboard that goes along with it. Flooring system, holding the control button down, I'm gonna get that floor system divider, and then if I go long enough, here's the laminate floor. Boom. I'm gonna get the vapor barrier. I'm gonna get the replacement of it. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna worry about, that baseboard is continuous with door casings. So there's one door in the room. There's two doors in the room, an interior door and an exterior door. So I'm gonna account for that. I'm gonna get that category. I'm gonna mask around the perimeter of those openings, mask around that casing, and I'm just gonna paint the casing. Copy those line items, and inside of our living room, I'm gonna dump them in. So just like that, everything is already where it should be. Calculated by PF, PF, PF for the perimeter of the floor, and then laminate, F, 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 and then the door opening, 17 times 2, 17 times 2, 17 times 2. Some companies will want you to use a microbial when there's water damage like that. Some will allow you to use the tear out line items, which give more of an allowance because the materials are wet, while others don't let you do that. This particular one doesn't let me do that, so I can't do it. So that's everything we need for the living room. Now, I'm gonna take all these line items again, copy them, because the hallway, we're not doing anything in that hallway except replacing that floor. So all I need to do from here is just dump it in. We're not going to be doing anything with drapery or content manipulation. We're not going to be repairing the walls. The only thing we're doing in here is actually that base shoe. So I'm going to leave those line items just as they are. I'm going to leave the floor system line items just as they are, and then I am going to recalculate the casings based on how many actual openings there are, which there are 5. So 17 times 5, 17. Now, before I go on any further, just want to also reiterate, sometimes when I'm doing this, I talk over I talk so much and I don't pay attention to what I'm actually deleting. One thing that we do need is T-molding. T-molding is like what's placed in between a transition between one type of flooring and another. Now, there is T-molding in these rooms at every door. So I'm going to do 2.5 times 5 here. Now, in the kitchen, there was T-molding as well, and that T-molding was right between the opening from where the cabinets are, or from where the kitchen is to the living room. We measured that as 5'5", so we'll dump that in there, 5'5". Last but very not least, now it's time to go into our bathroom. I'm gonna jump in the kitchen. I'm gonna use these line items. Here's what I'm seeing here. We're gonna be giving some allowances on the ceiling. We're gonna be giving some allowances, a lot more allowances on the wall, because I'm going to replace all of that tile. I'm not going to assume that any of that can be matched and blended or anything like that. This is going to be a little bit more extensive. No blinds. I'm not going to be doing anything with that vanity that's in there. That can all stay. So I'm going to get rid of all these particular prep line items. The one line item that I will use for prep is to detach shower door system, not just a slab. There we go. That is $104. I know there is a corner unit, okay? Here, shower door system corner unit. That's what we want. And that is $190. So there you go. We're gonna use that. Other than that, there's a little miscellaneous in there that could be manipulated. Even the toilet that's right here, does it really need to come out? Not really. I'll put it in there anyway though, just to cover all my bases, give them a couple extra bucks. Now, there's no light fixtures to mask in this room. It's just a recess, so I'm not gonna mask anything there. For the ceiling, I'd say I'd give them about half. I'll give them about half the ceiling. Still only comes out to just less than 35 square feet. Same goes for the drywall. Now for the walls, I'm just gonna give 32 square feet of drywall. Now I'm gonna pair that with 1/2-inch cement board, okay? Now that cement board is what is going to be behind all that tile. So how do we calculate all this tile? We can jump back to our sketch. Get rid of this number 1. We have this measured 3.8 by 3.9. I want 3.8 for this wall plus 3.9 times almost the full height of the wall, 7.5. 3.8, 3.9, 7.5. 3.8, 3.9 times 7.5. See what I did there? So this whole corner unit, we're saying is 55, just over 55 square feet. Now let's go over to where the tub is. 5'11", 2.6, and it's 3.5 up. Plus 511, 26 times 3.5. Now we're at just shy of 85 square feet. So now that we have what's behind the tile, we will look for ceramic tile. Put that in with an identical number, 8447. Now we look for extra things that we can add to it. See the tile that's around the perimeter of everything? That's a bullnose. We can add extra for that. And also this little strip right here, this little fancy schmancy strip, we can add that in. We can also add in, where did it go? This little knee wall, what's called a knee wall right there. So we'll throw in about 12 extra square feet there. Plus 12, plus 12, there we go. Now let's look at bullnose, make sure it's 2 inches by 6, that's what we want. Then we're just gonna do the perimeter of everything. You see it goes around the entire thing here. So we're gonna do 3.5 plus 2.6 plus 5.11 plus, it would be 7.5 minus 3.5, so 4 plus 3.8 plus 3.9 plus 7.5. I don't expect you to be following me with all those numbers, they're just stuck in my head. If you had to do it, you just calculate in your head, write it down, the linear feet based on all of that. I'm gonna do basically for that feature strip, it looks like it goes all around as well. So I'm gonna do the same thing there, except I'm going to not include one calculation. And that's that 4 because it's not actually there. 3.8, 3.9. I basically just used the same calculation. The only difference is I made sure it was the horizontal calculations only, no vertical. Now we're gonna think about the new drywall. That's half the ceiling. So in parentheses, I'm gonna put C divided by half plus all the new drywall, just the new drywall, which is 32. We're gonna give them 32. So because we put reference blocks in our sketch to deduct where the tile is, I don't need to worry about reworking my numbers for the paint. So we'll just leave it as is, WC, ceilings and walls. Get that out. Now one thing I will do also, we're gonna detach and reset the tub faucet right there, and there should be also another tub faucet, a shower faucet right there. Detach tub shower faucet. Put that in, set it at 2. That's a $500 increase. We got that in there. Now another thing, see these little shelves? We want, with the tile coming down, those shelves are gonna be coming out too. Now there's not really a great line item to use that. So what I will use is a high-grade soap dish, 3 of them. And I'm gonna put that, I'll keep that right where it is. I will also put seal tile wall, seal grout on tile wall. Because everything is in a wet area, I'm gonna make sure that the new tile is sealed, 96.47. So we do a glance over, make sure that we are looking good. Now some people, if you encounter a contractor, public adjuster, they'll also, make sure you include all the detach and resetting of like the towel and the ring and all that sort of stuff. It's very easy to do that, and a lot of insurance carriers or file reviewers will reject that because they just feel it's unnecessary, and I, to a certain extent, agree with them, unless, of course, I'm writing an estimate for a contractor. Then I throw in everything I possibly can. That's just kind of what you do. So, because of the extent of this damage, I'm going to be adding in a 10 and 10 overhead and profit on there. Now, some of the rules that I have to follow with this particular client, I can't apply overhead and profit to certain line items. I know what those line items are, what categories those line items are, because I have that included in my final checklist that is a part of this macro. So I know not to apply overhead and profit on any roofing, fencing, cleaning, or demo. The only trade I'm gonna have out of those is demo. So I'm just gonna click here, get the line item, click on this button right here, that opens up this, and I can switch that one line item to non-OMP. Now with that being said, I'm gonna get rid of all of the remaining line items that were a part of the 6-figure macro, and that's gonna be it. Now from here, the only things that I have to do, apply depreciation, I'm gonna reprice the estimate because I'm using the macro. I'm gonna apply depreciation, do a final check, and then I'm just gonna move on to my final report and get whatever other documents I need. Guys, that's gonna be the conclusion. This one was a long one. That's the conclusion to this Xactimate live training. That's the conclusion of this episode. I hope you guys check out the rest of our live trainings and make sure that you're a subscriber to this channel so you can see all the new ones that we put out, as well as all the other stuff that we come out with from Adjuster University. I'll catch you on the next one.
Question of the day, what do you think? If you're interested in checking out the 6-figure macro from Adjuster University, use my link in the description below the video on YouTube, or use the button below the video if you're watching on adjustertv.com. And I strongly encourage you to get on over to Adjuster University's YouTube channel for more free training videos just like this one. And for much more information about crushing it as an independent adjuster, head on over to Adjuster TV if you're not there already. And if you got value from this video, you can help me create more videos just like this by subscribing to Adjuster TV on YouTube. Wondering what to watch next? There are tons more videos right here on the Adjuster TV YouTube channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching the Property IA show, and have a great storm.